this is the tricky thing we do to ourselves, right? We notice that we're not doing something we want to be doing, and we decide that instead of just doing the thing that we're not doing that we wish we were doing, that we should figure out what's wrong with us. We want to find out there was something that happened when I was 5. I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to have an epiphany moment, and I'm going to be skinny and rich. That was my thing. But it's really not like that. It's one day after the next doing the thing. I'm not on protocol. I'm not eating on protocol. I'm in debt. I don't know how to do this, and I'm always going into debt, and I'm always doing all this negative thinking. And that's evidence that I need to go figure out what the fuck is wrong with me as a person, as a human, why I'm broken. But what does that do? It lets us completely off of the path that we have set out for ourselves, because now we have an excuse. Well, we can't follow our protocol, and we can't get out of debt, and we can't do any of those things until we figure out this huge problem that is myself. And then instead of just getting up every day and eating what's on my protocol or getting out of debt or doing that thing, I can sit over here and talk about this huge insurmountable problem that I have. Do you see what I'm saying? So you're talking about this like it's some very vague, big thing that you don't know what's happening, but all of your thoughts are so negative, right? It's all just basic math, right? So it doesn't matter how hard you work, it doesn't matter how much you hustle, it doesn't matter how many models you have, you're very committed to the story. So if you had to give up that whole story, then what? Because what do you need to do? You need to get out of debt. Do you see what she's doing? You all do this. It's very clever, this brain. You need to do a model. No, you need to eat a salad. This is very basic math, and there's so much drama around it. You need to enroll more clients, and you need to spend less money. It's so boring and awful as a future, right? That you want it to be this big problem that you have to solve. Like, I've been watching this happen with us. Like, this, where you're at, what you need to do is terribly boring. It's not dramatic.
Right.
You need to enroll clients and spend less money, and enroll clients and spend less money until you get to the result you want. But you would much rather do what? Tell me. What do you do instead of enrolling more clients and spending less money? The stuff that you're doing that isn't working is the stuff that you have to just be willing to release. It is your story. It is like your wubby. It is your excuse. Right? Because you're kind of like, well, I do this, and I am making $400K, and I am like this, and it's very like jarring to your own self, right? Because you're like mad about it, it seems. You know exactly how you're making it hard. Just not doing the simple things. Enroll more clients, spend less money. Enroll more clients, spend less money. That is it. I am sorry, but that is it. And not telling yourself that you're already doing everything you can possibly do, which is what you're doing. You're in a circle of this. You're like, I'm already doing everything I could possibly do, and it's not good enough, and I'm worthless. You have to be willing to give that up. You have to hear the slew of, there's nowhere to go from there. All that negative thinking. But I can tell as you're saying it, you don't even realize it's negative thinking. You just think you're telling me about your life. It really just is a choice. You just have to be like, enough is enough. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to think. No more of that bullshit. Okay. That is a life-changing moment right there, when you're just like, stop it. Now, a lot of you don't realize how negative you are. You're so negative and you don't even realize it. So I think you know you're negative. I don't know that you know to what extent.
To what extent? No, that I believe.
Because it feels normal to you, but that's why you're creating these negative results. It's taking it to that next level of awareness and digging it up. And just being like, but this is a negative thing. You're very reluctant to make that shift of belief, and you should, because it's a full identity crisis you're gonna have to do it. But that's the work that you have to do. What if you just let yourself be terrified? You know what's awful? Trying not to be terrified. I think a lot of you guys are trying to skip that part. Skip the part where you're like, whoa, this is a trip. I'm terrified. And really just be in the presence of that, right? Because I think there's some magic to putting yourself in a position that terrifies you for a good reason. And that's what you've done, right? Why are you terrified of me? Like, let's talk about worst case scenario. You don't discover who you are and change by having a great time. Notice? That's not how that shit works, right? The best thing that can happen is that it's all pointed out to you, and you dig it up and you look at all your insecurities about your writing. Not that you have a great time while are you just coming on vacation, or are you coming to like really dig into who you are and writing and come out the other side of it, right? So a lot of times you're thinking, Brooke's scary. I want her to approve of me and approve of me as a person and my writing and all that. Who really cares whether I do or not? You do, because you haven't questioned the next level of it. Because let's play this out, you guys. This is what we imagine, right? I want to go to my teacher's retreat, and she's like, you're the most amazing person I've ever seen in my life. Your writing is spectacular, and you're beautiful, and I love your outfit. Here's my number. Text me anytime. Do you want a selfie or 20? Let's go. Let's take a picture of our food, right? Like, think about that. Like, is that really what you want? Do you think me saying all those things to you is somehow validation to you? Which it isn't, right? You just make it mean that. I think that's a terrible use of me in our time together. Like, I think my superpower is coaching, pointing out all the horrible things. I'm like, and there's this, and then there's, and did you notice this, right? That's the work. And when we can be afraid of that and move towards that and have that be the best case scenario because of who we get to be on the other side of that, that's what's super powerful. But if you want to try and come, I want to have a good time, I don't want to be afraid, what does that thought feel like? Do you want it to be easy? Like, really think about it. Like, when I ask people, you want to win the lottery or make $1 million? They're like, win the lottery. I'm like, you'd rather win the lottery than make it yourself? People say yes. They're like, absolutely 100%. I'm like, if you make it, you can make it again. Right? But they'd rather win the lottery. And that's kind of what you want here, yeah? Right? So just notice that. I think a lot of times you guys are like, I feel terrible, I feel terrified, I feel scared, let's fix that. Instead of let that be the thing. That's when we make our bigger goals. That's when we do the bigger things. So just come and let that be what it is. Because the worst case scenario that you're describing, I think, is the best case. That we dig it all up and we get through it. That's what I think is fun, even when I'm on the receiving end of that. Because that's how we evolve. That's what makes life fun. When you start making those uncomfortable things fun, that's when it's great. That's such a good lesson for all of you guys. Like, what do you want from your life? Just things that are great and feel good and are approval, that you get approval from? I feel like there's a lot of that going around.